Welcome to Happily Holistic. I'm Amy Lee Mercury, and I'm a medical intuitive with 20 years of experience. I've written 15 books on health and wellness. If you've had a medical intuitive session with me, you know that the thoughts and emotions within you, what has been passed down from your ancestors, and everything that surrounds you can impact your well-being. In this podcast, we touch on my favorite ways for you to improve your health and feel more joy. We dive deeply into everything health and wellness with a big dash of spirituality and a sprinkle of business. We spotlight the uplifting and the positive and share the secret ways top wellness authors and celebrities get inspired, stay healthy, and enjoy this beautiful life. I can't wait to get happily holistic with you today. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Happily Holistic. I'm so excited to be here today with Marilyn Harper. Hi, Marilyn.
Hello, I am thrilled to be here as well.
Yay! Marilyn has a lot of amazing things that she does. She is a speaker, a facilitator, a healer. She's been called the Midwestern spiritual spark plug and the Bette Midler of the mystical movement. Marilyn is a renowned public speaker, facilitator, spiritual teacher, and channel of Adironnda in the Council of Light. She is the divine link for Adironnda, a spokes being from the 17th dimension who helps you learn to be the love that you are. Marilyn is an internationally recognized expert on the walk-in phenomenon and is the creator of Holographic Healing, a 5-part certification course in alternative healing. She's also a Reiki Master, Karuna Master, certified peak potentials trainer, certified intuitive consultant, and a quantum touch practitioner. So many things. Marilyn has a double digitology book decoding the messages of the universe through the power of numerology that she published. So she has so many amazing offerings, so many amazing things. Marilyn, thank you for being here. We're excited to have you.
Well, I am excited to be here. And when I listen to all of that introduction, I think I need to take half of that out and just say, I'm here and this is what I do and this is where I go.
I love that introduction because it gives us so much insight into the multidimensionality that you live.
Well, many years ago, I heard from Adironnda and the council that I need to pick 3 things because I was doing like 27 different things and I had trouble focusing on one thing or 2 things. And so they said, what is it that you love the best? What is it that you love the most? And that was difficult because I love it all. I love speaking. I love facilitating. I love teaching. I love channeling. I love healing holographically. I love, so
I get it.
On.
I get it. I got the same guidance from my team. They basically said, all right, if you want to, be really successful, which we think you'd enjoy, you're going to have to focus. And I'm like, no. It's just for somebody who's kind of ADD and we're creative types, it's like staying with one thing. Like I taught that class once. I'm ready to invent a new class. It's like, no, you're going to keep teaching it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we evolve, we learn in new ways when we change those structures, I think, that we function within.
Yes, and absolutely we do. And those new ways bring in a whole new illumination for the world that we're living in,
Absolutely.
And the energy that's coming in as we're moving from 2021 into 2022, which is a triple digit year. It's so powerful to, I mean, Adironnda, when they first came in, they said, pay attention to the numbers. And quite honestly, that's how they got my attention, is through the numbers. And it was so powerful when you stop and think of the changes that are occurring right
Mhm.
now and are going to continue occurring in the future, I'm sure.
Oh, I think so. I think we're I mean, it seems like human history, there's always tumult and, change and everything, but it does feel, I mean, I think since became an adult and started tracking all this, it's been feeling like an acceleration. At certain points, we haven't really, like, everyone would say, oh, the year 2000, or oh, 2012, or this or that would be this acceleration. Then we're there. No, I don't think so. I think we're just going to keep accelerating.
Yes.
So it
Yes, we
seems.
are.
Hmm. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, your origin story. And I don't actually know this, that so you I don't know the story behind the fact that you're an expert on the walk-in phenomenon. Would you talk to us about how you got started and how that walk-in side of things um played out for you? Because
Well,
that's incredibly
absolutely.
interesting.
It is. And if it had not have happened to me, I would never have believed it was even possible. I
Right.
mean, I was a deacon in the Christian church. I was leading a
Oh.
normal life. I was selling advertising for a country western radio station.
Oh, wow.
I know. I had just completed my master's degree, thinking that I would teach theater. And
Oh.
then to teach in college, you need a doctorate degree. And I said, forget
Oh,
that.
sheesh.
And in the middle of actually writing my thesis, I had surgery and I had complications following that surgery.
Mm,
And I can remember laying in a hallway waiting to go in and be x-rayed, and I was in so
mm.
much pain.
Oh,
I was in so much pain in my abdomen, and just had gallbladder surgery, but
uh-huh.
this was even worse pain than the gallbladder surgery. And
Wow.
I remember saying, if I'm going to be in this much pain, I would just rather die. Just take
Mhm.
me now. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've lived a happy life and
Yeah.
take me now. And I felt a surge of energy and made enough racket that they took me right in and got me x-rayed and figured out what the problem was
Yeah.
and corrected that problem. And I came out of the hospital feeling so different than I felt
Mm.
before.
Mhm.
I found that I couldn't really wear the same clothes. I couldn't really,
Wow.
I mean, the colors that my walkout wore were not my colors.
Yeah.
And I found that I didn't like to do the same things. I I couldn't write in English. I
Oh my
couldn't,
gosh.
I mean, I was a writer before.
Right. Right.
And and I mean, even now, when you read my writing, you actually have to. I have an editor that looks at most of my stuff, but you actually have to read it out loud to know what I'm talking about because the syntax of
Really
the words were in a different order than English. I
interesting.
know, and I thought, why did I have a
You're like,
stroke or
what
something?
happened here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was not metaphysical. I
Right.
I had no, I mean, when I was a kid, I played around with seances a little bit and things like that.
Right. But
And everybody, that's what the
yeah.
Ouija board was for.
Yeah, exactly.
And but then so I really had no idea what had happened. And
Right.
I just was so different. And even my son, my family knew that there was something
Something.
major that had changed, but none of us knew what. Then, if you skip forward 3 years,
Yeah.
uh, when I was ready to hear what had happened, um, the universe brought me three messengers that would I would know and trust and love.
Yeah.
One was my mother, and one
Mm.
was a guy that I had dated. I call him Gandhi. He's kind of
Aw.
a cross between Haas and Gandhi. Haas from Bonanza, the big bulky guy, and then Gandhi
Oh.
speaks like Gandhi.
Oh, wow.
And then another
That's a
friend
nice
of mine.
combination.
Yeah, so they brought me three messengers that
Yeah.
that told me about the walk-in phenomenon. Told
Right.
me about Ruth Montgomery's book, and I thought, oh my
Right.
gosh, that's what happened to me. And
Wow.
as soon as I realized that and set myself on the spiritual path, because I thought, okay, so if I am a walk-in is a
Right.
person that has had a soul exchange. Now, at that point in time, I thought that another soul came in to live in my body instead of the body dying, and
Right.
the soul that was born in this body went where souls go where they
Left.
die. Right.
Right.
If your audience does not know what a walk-in is. But
It's good to explain it, I think, because there's different definitions too, which is fine. I mean, people have
and
different
don't Google
experiences.
it. Heavens, don't
No,
Google it because it's so scary.
I'm sure it felt a little bit scary, especially since you probably never heard of that, and it sounds like you weren't metaphysical, so it's probably kind of like, what the heck is going on here?
That's exactly what it was. And
Yeah.
now Lee Carroll, Cryon,
Yes.
Cryon did a channeling on walk-ins a few years ago, and with
Mm,
me,
yeah.
and it's on his website. It's on our website too,
Yeah.
um, and it explains that the walk-in soul is actually your own soul, several generations more evolved. And it's come.
Interesting.
I know.
Coming
I
back around, coming back
Right,
in time.
exactly. To
Yeah.
activate and illuminate. So anyway,
Yeah.
it certainly has brought me to where I am
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Adironnda did not come in with the walk-in, but that was laid the foundation. The walk-in laid the foundation
For
down.
that communication.
Exactly, exactly.
Interesting. And so do you feel like the part that exited, and came back around basically from the future, do you feel like you obviously retained the memories? Well, I mean, some at least. It sounds like the syntax and all that was different, but you retain the memories and aspects of the personality structure. Do you feel like that stayed because it was sort of like in the computer, or because the part of you that came back around also remembered being you before, or a combination of the two? I know that's a little bit of a mind bender, but
Well, the whole thing is a mind bender.
yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, how would you even know what's possible here? And
Right.
the way I understand it, my walkout was very comfortable on stage. She was, could manage
Mm,
an audience. She
yeah.
was very comfortable in that arena.
Yeah.
My walk in was not comfortable on stage, was
Mm,
not, she could not, I could not uh, perform the same plays that my walkout had written
yes.
unless I rewrote them so they had like this big spiritual message, right?
So
And
interesting.
it was fascinating. And then what happened when I was ready, I did awaken those memories in the computer
Yeah.
to be comfortable on stage,
Yeah.
to be comfortable in that arena, because in the last 11 years, 12 years,
You
uh,
have been, right?
uh,
On
that
stage. Yeah.
that was my and in the 90s when I was waking up in my guided writing, they always said, you're going to be on stage in front of thousands of people, you're going to stand and you're going to bring
Yeah.
messages from the universe. And I'm like, I don't think so.
You're like, really? I
And
don't like being on stage anymore. I have a vague recollection I might have in the past, but I don't like it now.
but I don't like it now. And then, in as my memories awoke and sort of merged together,
Yeah.
um, that became more comfortable. I became more comfortable on stage,
Yes.
and I'm now getting more comfortable in front of a camera.
You're doing great, and you do wonderfully when you are in front of the camera. So I think you could check that one off the list
Okay.
of skills that you've reawoken. Interesting.
It's just so amazing when we think of our journey that has
Yes,
brought us to this point. And
absolutely.
you are all about the shamanism and the healing,
Mhm.
and I love your work, and it's
Oh,
so
thank you.
powerful.
Thank you
And
so much.
and I in the 90s, I realized I kind of have this ability to see or sense into people's bodies, as you do,
Yeah. Yeah.
that I can see where the blockages are or sense
Yeah.
where the blockages are
Yeah.
and then realign them, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so now I actually teach that.
It's good. We need
Yeah,
that. I mean,
yeah.
our world, we need that, and we need the ability to be our own healers as much as possible, more than ever. That's one of the things that I always share is everyone is their own guru. There's absolutely guideposts and teachers and helpers along the way, but it comes back to each and every one of us knowing what is right for our body, our being, and our soul.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
interesting that you even use the term guru, because we always tell people not to give their power
No
away.
gurus.
And
Exactly. Only you. That's
Adironnda, the
it.
spokes being that I channel, is like, well, you know what guru stands for, right? G, you are you.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And that this is a world of no gurus.
Yeah.
And no one, I mean, even some of the greatest teachers, the Buddha,
Yes.
you know, Jesus or Yeshua,
Yeah.
Gandhi, they they don't want to be um, held up as a guru. They don't
Exactly.
want to be held up as someone that you honor and worship. And
Exactly. I think it's
uh,
a red flag if someone does, personally. I mean, that's
yeah,
just my opinion, but
I agree with you
yeah.
100%. That is my opinion as well. And
Yeah.
and and it's so enlightening now to think that the world is getting that message.
I think it is, and I think it's coming around, slowly and surely, but it's increasing absolutely. And then absolutely in the last 20 years, 15 years, so much has changed, and there's so much more awareness that we do hold the power, and we don't need an you know we absolutely benefit from guides, teachers, people who can help us, but we don't require an external representative to connect with the source or the divine, the goddess, God, whatever you want to call it, because it's already part of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is
Yeah.
part of us, and it is that
Mhm.
that part of us that is sort of flowering,
Yeah.
expanding in the world. And
Yes.
thank goodness it is. I
Oh, I know.
love.
We need it. We
Yes.
need it. We'll be right back after this short break. Hey there, it's Amy Lee Mercury. People have been asking what to expect when you book a medical intuitive session with me. Whether you have had a medical intuitive session before or are completely new to the idea, working with a medical intuitive may be right for you if you are looking to uncover the root cause of one or more mild to moderate health concerns. Working with me is not designed to take the place of seeing an integrative doctor or your chosen health practitioner. The way a session begins is you get to share your questions and concerns. After that, I say an opening invocation, which is adapted from something shared with me by my late medicine teacher about 25 years ago. It invites your highest vibrational spirit guides to participate in the session. These may be ancestors, angelic guides, or other benevolent non-physical beings. After the invocation, I let you know which guides want to talk with you and what they have to say. We address your questions and concerns and find resolutions and answers. If there are health issues, we find the root causes of the issues. To learn more about my medical intuitive work, check out the Work With Me page on amyleemercury.com. So, you channel Adironnda. How would you describe this being or beings. Like if you were introducing the audience, here's Adironnda, here's so and so and so and so.
Well, what an interesting thought, because I've never really thought of it in that capacity.
It's kind of a fun way to think of it.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Adironnda is from the 17th dimension. And I didn't even know there were 17 dimensions. And there are, and now science has proved 13 or 14 of them right now.
I think there's infinite dimensions. That's
There's
my experience. And I love numbers, by the way.
So do I.
Mhm.
And Adironnda is a spokesbeing for a council of ascended masters that
Mhm.
have lived on this planet Earth, and
Ah,
a few archangels that
awesome.
are liaisons
Yes.
for the human element.
Yeah.
And Adironnda initially uh, is does not have physical form.
Yes.
When people were to see the energy of Adironnda, they would see
Right.
a little bit of a fog of
Mist.
different colors, mist.
Mm.
And what when I started channeling,
Yeah.
I I was a trance channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I still am a trance channel. I
Yeah.
don't remember what's been
Ah.
said.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could negotiate that.
I did negotiate that myself years ago because
Yeah,
it
I
started
didn't.
like that and it would make me so out of it. I was like, I don't know if this is quite the right recipe for me.
Well, what I think it for me in the beginning, Adironda's energy was so much different than my energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I don't think if it was the same and if I was conscious and remembered everything
Yeah.
that I would have actually believed it.
It gets our mind out of the way. And I do feel like for me in select circumstances, it brings it really, really, really extra clear, objective information. I actually use it for myself more than anything else because it gets my mind out of the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Adironda's message, their messages are really quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all this big complicated ritual
Right.
that you have to do. It's, their primary message is be the love that you are.
Yeah.
And and they really hold the intention when they came to this dimension, this energy.
Yeah.
Uh, they uh, they hold the intention that each person that they encounter know what it feels like to be held in unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And if everyone on the planet knew what that felt
I
like,
feel it.
it
Mhm.
would change the energy of the mass consciousness.
Mm,
Now, interestingly enough,
beautiful.
in the past year, we've all had, the COVID experience and going inside
Mm-hmm.
and had wonderful things happen because of that, and had
Yep.
maybe some not so wonderful things happen because
Mm-hmm.
of that. But
Right.
we still honor everything that did happen.
Right.
Last year, Adironda has actually changed their verbiage
Interesting.
and asked and said, we no longer wish to hold you, meaning the world at large,
Yeah.
in unconditional love because your words are so important. And that starts the energy of love
Mm,
with a negative connotation, right?
yes.
So instead, they changed it to, we wish to hold you in infinite love.
Oh, I like that.
I
I like
know.
that.
And they then went on. This was during one of the double digits that they brought this
Mm-hmm.
message. And they then went on to say, you are in the finest you that you can
Yeah.
be. Meaning I in, right?
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
he. it's like they love words and they
I
put
was gonna
it down
say too, and I feel like your walk-in is well matched to them because you came in with this different, you brought this different syntax, it sounds like, and it made a great foundation to then really speak their language.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting, Amy. I don't think I
Yeah.
ever thought of it that way.
I mean, I was, the way you were saying, I was thinking, boy, that was a good match, you guys. Well done.
They were a
Good
good,
planning. Good
yeah.
planning. You guys all planned this before. You'll walk out and you'll walk in, you'll bring the new syntaxy thing, we'll reconfigure a couple of circuits, then we'll start the channeling. Good plan.
And it's fascinating that when I did walk in, and when Adironnda came in, they said, before Adironnda came in,
Yeah.
they said this, being
Yeah.
has all of the skills, and we have been there at turning points in her life, their life,
Yes.
to have all the skills to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah. It's
And
all
that,
been planned.
yeah,
That way.
isn't that fascinating, huh?
Yeah. The magic of multidimensional living.
Yes.
That's what it is. And
Yes,
it's
it is.
happening whether or not we're aware of it. But as we expand our consciousness and our awareness, then we get to notice some of it, right?
Isn't that the truth? I mean, this is
Uh-huh.
the most magnificent world that we are living in, and it's so powerful and so well connected. I love it. I love
It's
it.
an interesting place to be. That's
Yeah.
for darn sure.
And the world is that infinite energy, I mean, that's how holographic healing came about. That's how, actually Cryon was doing a discussion about channeling
Mm,
before, and and he said, well, Marilyn, you've got a really well defined technique of teaching people
right.
how to channel. And I'm like, uh uh
Do
well,
I?
yes, I do.
I guess I do.
Yes. And,
Yeah.
and so, that's how those basic things come through. The three things that they said,
Yes.
our three things are double digit numerology, which we bring
Yes.
every month, and
Neat.
holographic healing and how to channel. Um,
Awesome.
because I think everybody has that capability. I know
I agree with
everyone
that.
has the capability to channel,
I
everyone has
agree with
the
that.
capability to
All of it.
heal. Yeah, all of that.
Journey shamanically, everything. Yes.
Exactly.
Agreed. Yeah. It's normal. I think it's natural. And it's just a reawakening of those skills, perhaps, from our ancestral memory. And either way, it's an ability everybody has. I agree.
And in that, somewhere along the line, we became afraid of it, or we wanted to
Mm-hmm.
hide it. And now I think with all the shamanic teachings and all of the light workers, or as
Yeah.
Adironnda calls them, light plurkers, play plus work equals plurk. And
That's it. That's for sure.
yeah, and
I agree with that.
and with that, all of this, I believe the mass consciousness is actually changing. And I believe that the
I
things
do
that are
too.
going on right now in the world are are shifting. And those things,
Yes.
Adirondra said years ago, everything that is not in integrity is actually going to start bubbling up to the surface.
I think
And
it's happening.
absolutely, it's
And I think there's more to come, personally.
I do too. It causes
But
me to take a deep breath. But
yeah.
we as light plurkers, we get the opportunity to hold the frequency, to hold the stage, to
Yeah.
hold the spine, and know
Yeah.
that we are, kind of the spine of the evolution of this planet, which is
Hmm.
pretty darn cool.
To observe it, I try to observe it with detachment sometimes, so I don't get too caught up in it, because it can be, as like an empath and all of that, it can be um, a lot. But if we just lean back kind of into our inner witness, just observe, it can be a pretty fascinating story to watch unfold.
Well, I think that that's why Adironda's message is so simple.
I
Be
love
here
that.
now. Be the
Hmm.
love that you are.
Yeah.
That does not mean to change others into the love that they are. That means to
Hmm.
be who
Be
you are.
it. Yeah.
And that energy is the radiation of that. The
Yes.
radiant focus is how, I mean, we have our cobalt blue bottles that we carry, that on the back of them is engraved, shift in the world around you shifts.
That's nice.
Yeah, and that's how it's happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the 100th monkey, you know. Uh,
Mm.
one gets it and another gets it and another gets it.
Mm.
Before long it jumps over to another island and they get it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What a beautiful conversation, Marilyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk for hours about these topics.
I'm sure we could.
I
You know,
know.
if it's possible, Amy, I would love to give your listeners a little gift from me.
Sure.
Is that-
We've got about 5 minutes that we can I'm sure they'd love it though. So absolutely. Yeah.
It'll just take, it's a 21-day meditation program
Oh,
that
absolutely.
actually
Yes.
kicked off the energy for holographic healing, because I realized
Awesome.
I could teach people how to look into people's bodies. And
Wonderful.
it's a 21-day program. It's got a little bit of class time and then a meditation.
Oh, I'm sure they'd love it.
And
Yes.
you know, the website to get that is healingholographically.com. That's healingholographically.com. HealingHolographicPhI holographically.
ICALLY.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was good syntax deciphering.
So
Original New Maryland.
I would love to give your listeners that, because
Of course.
you know, it's just a gift that I feel really strongly that if
course.
everybody has that, recognizes that ability, that would be
Of course. I think that's beautiful. And I would love for you to tell our listeners where they can find all of your offerings, where they can find you on social media, everything. We know that site. You could tell us that one again to get the gift too.
Yes. Our website is Adironnda.com. That's ADIRONNDA.com, or MarilynHarper.com will take you to the same spot.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. And the healing holographically, I don't think that's on our website, but
separate page.
It's a separate page, right?
Okay.
A holographic healing is on our website as
Okay.
well. How to channel and the double digit, all of the things that we do. And so, you know, take a look, see, we have all kinds of free gifts and free recordings.
Good.
You are more than welcome to listen to. We have recordings of Adironnda through the years. I just recently found another box of cassettes that was from 2000, the year after I started channeling.
Wow.
So,
but it'll be interesting to hear those back.
Yeah.
And we'll put all these websites and all this information in the show notes too.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
So on our website, if someone's listening and they wanted to find all this and you're driving, please don't do anything. Just watch the road and go to the website. Just click the episode, and the show notes will have all of this, and we'll make sure everybody has everything. And also, Marilyn, what is your preferred social network? Like, where would you want them to find you on social media?
You know, we have a Facebook page.
Okay, perfect.
Adironnda, Marilyn Harper, Everything is Possible. We teach a course called Everything is Possible.
I love that.
And that's our Facebook page.
Great.
And our Instagram page, I believe, is the same. And our TikTok page is the same. And
oh my goodness, you're on TikTok. You're so modern.
Twitter is the same as well.
So many.
Consistent.
We'll put them all in our show notes, so everybody, whatever your network of choices, you can go find Marilyn and Adironnda and her whole crew and see what they're up to. Sounds like quite a bit.
Yes, we're very busy, as are you. And thank you so much for having me as a guest on your show. I love your show. I love your work. And
thank you.
And as Adironnda would say, I love your plurk.
It is definitely plurk. It is definitely plurk. Yay. Thank you so much for being here, Marilyn. We're so glad you got to share time with us today. And thank everybody for listening to Happily Holistic, and have a joyful day. Thanks for listening to Happily Holistic with me, Amy Lee Mercury. You can find out more about the show on amyleemercury.com on the podcast page. Please stop by your favorite social platform and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear how you liked today's show and what topics you'd like me to cover in the future. Come find me on Instagram and Facebook at amyleemercury.com. If you would like to see what a medical intuitive session with me is all about, hop on over to the Work With Me page on amyleemercury.com. Until next time, stay happily holistic.